Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fan Takeaways, where you share your thoughts and opinions from the game. If you want to be a part of this moving forward, follow pies_footy on Instagram. I usually post a story right after the game asking what your fan takeaways are. And no, don't say Macca's, KFC, Hungry Jacks. That's already been used and abused in the storylines before. So let's start with the feelings back _. Billy Frampton is in the form of his career and can be trusted if Darcy Moore misses games. It's a weird one, right? I've been saying this in 2025, when players are missing like a Darcy Moore or a Pendlebury or a De Goey, it just doesn't hurt us as much as it has in the past. I remember, like, if we go back to, was it 2020 or 2019? There was a game where we were versing the Eagles in Perth and Pendlebury was a really late out. He hurt his quad. And when I found out that right before the bounce, I was like, oh, great, we lost. But I don't say that anymore with this team, with this system. Darcy Moore's out. Cool, no worries. Do we need to bring in Charlie Dean, another key size defender? We opt not to do that. And then we decide to lean on what our existing base is. And Billy Frampton is the spearhead of it right now when it comes to taking the biggest key toll. And that would have been Thilthorpe on the weekend. So, yeah, what Billy Frampton has been able to achieve on a personal level it seeps into the team and gives Festus a really good positive energy, knowing that Billy Frampton is performing in the back line and we're not worried about what mistake he's going to make next. He just looks like he's at ease, he's comfortable, he knows what his role entails, he knows what's expected of him, and he's doing that and excelling. Like he's playing above the role that he's being asked to play in the nicest. I'm not trying to say it's a negative. When he's playing above his role, but he's playing above his role because he's performing well. I'm not saying he's playing above his role in a sense he's trying to do too much. I'm just saying he just somehow he's doing better than what his role is asking of him to do. Made a meal of that, but I'm sure you know where I'm coming from when I'm trying to explain that. But he's been exceptional, and I'll be the first to admit I was off the Billy bandwagon for quite some time, and I make some harsh statements. And I always say this. I keep saying this. I'm learning, being on YouTube, being a passionate Collingwood fan, not to overreact and understand that the team performance, the system, the mechanics of all that comes first. Without that, you can make Darcy Moore last year look horrible. Imagine putting Billy Frampton or Charlie Dean on the decks. It doesn't favour them. It doesn't help them. So I've learnt that. Making outlandish statements, I'm trying not to make them as much. It helps when you're winning, of course. So maybe come back and when and if we're losing, and we'll test my word then. All right. Kynan_tap says Ned Long will turn out to be one of the best pickups we've had as of recent. To add to that, he's a mid-season draftee. So you get him for peanuts. He's the second coming of John Noble from the mid-season draft, essentially. And I believe Ned Long's ceiling is higher than what John Noble's is. So we've really hit the gold mines when it comes to like hitting in the mid-season draft. Usually you don't get many gems out of there, but I feel like we've gotten most of the hidden gems. If you want to throw Ash Johnson in there as well, there you go. So, and maybe I'm missing, who else have we had recently? Iluru Smith, who's still finding his way at the VFL level, but I'm sure I'm forgetting someone. But you see what I'm saying, right? So he's just been exceptional. I'm going to do a video on him tomorrow, another player analysis like we did with Quaynor today. So we can have a close look at what Ned Long is doing and why he's keeping his spot, and more importantly, why is he starting. I'll show you all of that. Rangatank93 says lids are off. I just checked my kitchen and I can confirm the lids are all off in my kitchen, and my still trying to what's the word? Quell or subdue my aspirations and ambitions for what we're hoping for at the end of this year, but it's looking very good, and we're putting ourselves in the best position to be where we want to be in September. Skiller918 says, I just love Collingwood. You're not alone, my friend. Oi Brownie says, is Maynard better than Houston? I think the team just complements each other. I think ability-wise, Dan Houston's better, but Maynard, he had a great game as a skip. He had, 24 odd touches. His second efforts are second to none. I wouldn't be making that comparison. They're different types of players as well. So, yeah, who do you compare a Houston up against? You compare a Houston up against not a Josh Dacos. I wouldn't compare Houston to Josh Dacos because different type of sizes. Dan Houston can impact the ball more aerially than a Josh Dacos. I wouldn't even put him in the same category as John Noble, to be honest. I'm thinking the likes of, I'll have to get back to you on that one. Maybe a Zach Guthrie. He reminds me of an ability to impact the ball in the air and also use the ball well by foot. Ned Cassidy says Frampton is the GOAT. And also Elite Subs Eastland says Jeremy Howe, GOAT. What a year he's having. With Darcy Moore's absence on the weekend, Jeremy Howe needed to continue the rich vein of form that he has been in for the large part of this season and the last 5 games of last season. He carried that into this game. Taylor Walker was nowhere to be seen. Obviously, Darcy Fogarty was let off the chain, kicked 4 goals, but overall, it felt like a massive win for our backline. Thilthorpe, he had moments. I'm sure he had a couple of contested marks, but he didn't tear the game apart. And to keep that team to, was it 68, 78, to keep them to close to just 10 goals when they are the most efficient side. We're an efficient side going inside 50, but Adelaide are the bee's knees when it comes to that. We kept them to 10 goals, 8. That is, you pat yourself on the shoulder with the result like that from a defensive standpoint. I understand the wet weather footy. I understand Adelaide missed some easy chances, a number of shots that ended up resulting on the full. But if you look at our expected score, our lovely, our reasonable champion data will tell us that our expected score at the end of the game was still higher than what the Crows would have been based on expected score. We'll leave it at that. Thank you for sticking around, and we'll see you next week. Go Pies.